Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Regenerative Business Podcast. I have a very special guest on today, someone who I've been working with and learning from for almost a year now. So I invited Amy Babish on to talk about something so important to myself and so important to I know all of you, and that is working with land in a very magical and practical way in order to manifest what we want out of life, manifest what we want through our businesses, have much more deeper support through life, and it not just being about what we do in our human bodies. And then later on in the conversation, we're going to also be bringing in land reparations. We're going to be talking about how to heal the land that we're on, how to work with land in order to actually manifest land ownership. And it's just, this is just going to be such a big conversation. It might have to be multiple conversations, but thank you so much for coming on, Amy. And say hello and tell us, you have this crazy list of credibility that I would like. Please tell us all of those things too.
Thank you, Sam. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. I am coming from Doag land outside of Washington, D.C. I live in Virginia. That's the land that I steward, and I have been offering iterations of this work for over 20 years. I am a badass perimenopausal somatic coach who has transformed psychotherapist and attachment and trauma expert to having a social impact business. I am also trained in Tantra. I am a house therapist, which is feng shui. We're going to get to some of that today. And I also am very into Taoism. I do medical Qigong and then Taoist stone medicine. So you're going to get a little bit of everything today from me. And I can't wait to hear how this lands in your nervous system, your soul, and the soul of your business, and in the heart of the land that you are around.
Oh, so good. And I invited Amy on because really selfishly wanted to ask her a bunch of questions about all the stuff that she does with land. Because if you are a listener of the podcast, you know that I'm a enthusiast of feng shui. I'm not an expert, but I think it's super cool and I always want to learn more about it, and I use it in my life and with my business. And just recently realized there's this, actually most of feng shui is about land, and I had no idea. I was like, wait, what? And so Amy is the true expert in this. So thank you. I'm just so excited for this conversation.
I'm so excited to be here.
Okay, I want to lead with some wild stories around working with land, with energetically. I know you don't just do feng shui with land, but that's kind of what piqued my interest. But I know there's so much more deeper. So I want to hear some wild stories around you and or clients working with land in this way in order to do. What were the outcomes? What have outcomes been so far?
Yes, I'll start with a personal story. So I am divorced, and when I left my marriage, my ex-husband, that was his dream home. So I left him the home. So that's a very uncommon stance, and that gives you a little flavor who I am. And I have deep, deep trust in my spiritual guidance team, my brave ancestors, and in life itself. And so this happened in 2017. I was in apartments, and then the pandemic hit. So by that point, I'm like, I need to start working on a house for my daughter and I. I lived at that time in a different part of DC, and we have a national forest in DC. It's called Rock Creek Park, and it's hilly, and there's creeks, of course, and it's hard to imagine in the middle of DC, but it's a very sacred place. So I would walk this land every day. I would walk 4 miles out and back during the pandemic, and I would talk with the trees. I would talk with the land. I would talk with the indigenous Piscataway wisdom keepers, past, present, and future. I would talk with the creek. I would talk with whatever animals that came across my path. And I would just say, this is the intention I'm holding, is that I would be the first person in my lineage as a woman to buy a home. And like breaking a lot of intergenerational cycles. And I said, I know it's going to take a miracle because of the housing market and all these kind of like human things. And I said, I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know where we're going to live, but I'm offering this up to you and I'm asking you to co-create this with me. And wherever we're supposed to live, I want you to start to communicate with that land, with those trees, with those animals, with whatever water is by that area. And I want you to start to ask that land to open up to us stewarding that land, us blessing that land, and us helping to heal and repair that land. And so I am someone who really can be in the void of the unknown. And at one point I was like, okay, my ex-husband has a new home. There's a little bit of pressure. My daughter wants us to move there. She's like, can we move near Papa? And it was in Virginia. It was very far away. And my daughter was 6 at this point. And I didn't know how it was going to happen. I was like, I don't know how this is going to happen. And some of these walks were not just like sacred surrender. It was like tears. Like, I need help. I'm really asking for all of the guides, all of the help. I need a miracle. And so at one point when I was really frustrated, there's nothing's budging. I'm being like outbid by hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash. I don't know how this is going to happen. I look down and they're like, look down. And so I look down and if you're hearing the podcast, I'm holding up this piece of wood that I felt like it was a heart at this time. And I showed Sam in the before show, and she's like, it's like an arrow. And the message I got from it was like, trust your heart's longing, trust that things are moving forward, even though there's no evidence in the seen realms or in the concrete world. And so fast forward, it took another 2 years to find this home. And the second miracle of this is on Zillow, this home was like magnificent, but then there was no backyard. And I was like, okay, we're going to get there a little early. We got here and literally I wept. I live on a quartz crystal bed, which is very unusual for this area. I have natural occurring milky quartz all over my yard, and I have a wild backyard. It's all hardwoods. I live in suburbia now, but I am in one of the only places where there is hardwoods. And I just knew in my heart that Rock Creek Forest, the trees, the birds, they connected us to this home. And I was like, this is the promise. This is beyond my wildest dreams. And we hadn't even gone in the house yet. And when it came time to bid for this house, 900 people had walked through this house. That's how magnificent this house is. It was flipped and the work was really great. And I knew this is the place where like we could help host like family gatherings, celebrations, and I could hold retreats here. I was like, this is the place that I've been praying for and asking for years. And I was like, I don't know how we're going to get this because I've been outbid. So then my ancestors came in and I was like, can you please help? Land, can you please help? I was asking everybody, all hands on deck. And when it came time for the offers, our inspector, the person who kind of watches over the evaluator, the person who comes and makes sure that everything is what it says it is, he was the only inspector to get through. It was a massive snowstorm, and my ancestors literally made way for his huge truck and cleared the way for him. So we were the only people that got the home inspected before the offers were closed. And that's how I miraculously got this house.
Wow.
So that's one of many wild stories in Amy's toolbox.
My
So
gosh.
yeah, I didn't do this by myself. And it
Yeah.
wasn't through just like making a list, a checkbox of like, this is everything I want. I was like, I would just feel it in my body.
Yeah.
And those deep conversation, those deep prayers, that deep surrender process with the woods and all of my guides literally allowed this land to be like, oh, we want you here to take care of us. So I know that you've shared that many people in your world want to manifest a home with land.
Yeah.
And,
Or
I work
buy
with,
or buy land to do a homestead on it.
yep.
Yeah.
So many people, no matter if you're living in the city, in a concrete jungle, wherever you are, to allow land to manifest, help co-create with you, you have to build a relationship. And so it's just like a friend that you haven't seen, like maybe since high school, or you just have like kind of made it superficial.
Hmm.
You want to create a deep relationship. And so the way that you create a deep relationship with land is to know that you're grounded. That's the first step. You know you're grounded when you can feel your body and when you can feel your emotions.
Hmm.
Land work is vibrational work. It's not just energetic, it's vibrational. So, vibrational in terms of the different realms of healing, there's physical, which is somatic, there's energetic, there's vibrational, and then there's emotional. And land work is all vibrational. Feng shui and house therapy are vibrational. There's also energetic components, but this is like one of the clearest, most important parts. When you are able to be in your body, you can notice vibration sensations in a different way. Oftentimes, land talks and communicates with us through vibration. Sometimes it's concrete things like my concrete wooden heart, but
Hmm.
oftentimes it's a much more subtle realm.
Hmm.
And so beginning that relationship, first you have to know how to be grounded in your body. And when people talk about grounding, there's all kinds of grounding. Yes, grounding by putting your feet on the ground is
Yeah.
one way, but like really learning how to be down and in,
Mhm.
that will be game changing for how to actually start the relationship. And the relationship is not mind reading either. So
Yeah.
speaking out loud with whatever land you're on, even if you're in a concrete jungle, like you're walking the city block every day and talking with the indigenous wisdom keepers of the land, the previous acknowledgement of enslaved people that were on the land, and any other kind of natural thing that you're noticing. It could be trees, it could be flower boxes, it could be
Yeah.
cafe with herb boxes, like any kind of nature, it's all interconnected.
Hmm.
So you want to start talking with first.
Hmm.
If you have a sense of where you want the land to be, you want to research, and if you can go there physically, acknowledge that land.
Hmm.
Acknowledge, start to cultivate a relationship with that land. I didn't know in my story where I wanted to live. I just needed to get closer enough to my ex-husband for my daughter. But I wasn't like, oh, I want to be in this neighborhood. That was not my process. Some people know exactly kind of like, oh, I want to be in this region, or I want to be by this river, or I want to be able to grow farmland.
Hmm.
So wherever you have a sense, even if it's a broad sense, if you can go and make physical contact, that's great. But if you can't, in your meditation process, in your embodiment process on the land that you're on, starting to talk with this land that you're on and saying, can you help me connect with that land, even if I can't get there physically?
Yeah.
That is a very powerful process.
Well, so it's reminding me of our process, which when we got married secretly in at the beginning of 2020, right before the pandemic, and we were supposed to have a real wedding that year. That's why we didn't tell anyone we got married because we wanted people to still come to our wedding. And then the pandemic happened. But right after we got married, I asked Eddie, my husband, if you could live anywhere, where would it be? And I assumed it was where we were currently living because that's where he had always been and he grew up here. And he said, "No, I would live in on the west side of Maui." And in the a few months later, we got into an apartment. He got a lease. He always gets free leases on farmland. He's a magician at stuff like this. And he had a lease on I think 20 acres, and then got a second lease on an established mango orchard, again for free. And then the owners of the mango orchard ended up being realtors for this area. And we heard about the land that we're on. This entire area was for sale and it wasn't listed, but we knew him. And then we're like, okay, we want this property. And then it wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. And then when it finally did happen, it ended up being, I'm convinced, because it was essentially a year later and my business was way further along. So I had all of this cash flow to show how much money I had and how much money we could afford and get a loan for. And by that time, a different slice of the piece of this larger thing with a running river on it, with an ocean view. The other places didn't have an ocean view and bigger. And it was just this crazy, like, everyone talks about magic and manifestation. I'm like, let me tell you some story.
Yeah. For people who it's like tending to such a big dream, like you're on
Yeah.
really big land. I
Yeah.
steward 0.63 acres outside of DC. That's a big piece of land.
Yeah.
When you have a big dream, sometimes the depth of surrender, the depth of connection with the land, it takes time to really establish that. And
Hmm.
sometimes like our real self or our business or our bank accounts need to catch up. So it's
Hmm.
like you can start the process at any point, but know that you're not doing anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with you if it's taking time.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a faster one actually where the land next to us was for sale and it's like literally next to us, 9 acres directly next to us. And the farm above us wanted to buy it. And they're like worst of the worst kind of farming, like bad pig farming, letting it go directly into the stream, which is horrible for the ecosystem. And they wanted to buy it. And my husband ended up getting in connection with a celebrity who will not be named and asked them, "Will you buy this land?" Because they were into regenerative agriculture. And he was like, "Will you buy this land to prevent it from this other people?" And they bought it. It closed a few months ago. Like they bought it cash and they're like, "Yeah, we'll just give you like a 20-year lease for free on this." So we're now stewarding 15 acres and that happened like boom, boom, boom. So I like, I love this.
Things can flow. Things can flow.
Things can flow. What do you have any? What about people who are, because this conversation is not just about manifesting land for wherever you want, it's also about working with land in order to support your life and your goals. Do you have any stories around that?
Yes. So I'll share another personal story about my home. So my home, even though it was flipped, the previous owner was a magistrate. And then she went really downhill as she aged.
Hmm.
So she did not take care of this home. This home is a split level, it's mid-century modern, so it's wide, it's not tall. And she let ivy grow over the windows. The bushes became trees. The
Hmm.
roof had saplings growing out of it. Like it was very neglected. And in my backyard, there's sardine cans, Grand Marnier bottles. Like I'm telling you, not taking care of the land. And so part of really being with that, with our home, with the land, was to say, just like if you get an adopted pet that's been neglected, it's going to take time for you to trust me. And I
Hmm.
promise I'm going to take care of you. Like I'm going to nurture
Hmm.
you, love on you. And it's a lifelong relationship and it can't all happen at once. So I let the land and the home know that the front yard used to have this huge tree blocking the front door, which is a complicated situation in house therapy in Shui because it blocks the energy coming into the home.
Hmm.
That tree fell down and the woman moved out and died.
Wow.
So it was very significant. Like it was a trauma. And so when you would see our home, I live kind of at the bottom of a hill, like not all the way at the bottom, but there's a lot of runoff. And so there would be mud piles. Like we get a lot of rain where I live, mud piles in different parts of the land, which is also kind of stagnating energy. So I talk with the house, I talk with the land. We're going to make this like the most magical front yard you've ever seen. Like it is going to be so healing for the ecosystem, for the environment, and you're going to just feel how much people love and adore you because you're a magic healing garden. And so it took time for my finances to kind of, I bought this house, I have to build up my finances to do this. And so my partner and I, we first put down cardboard. We're like, it's going to be a no mow lawn. We knew that. And then he found this native plant design company.
Hmm.
And then I talked with them. I'm like, this is my Pinterest board. Here's the principles I want. And by the way, do you know about feng shui? So then I told her, this is the flow that I want. And I gave her all the principles of land shui.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she was like, oh my gosh, I went down the feng shui land like rabbit hole. This was so fun. You're the best. This is like an amazing project. I've never had anything like this.
Wow.
And we had this put in April, and it is absolutely stunning. It is a magic garden. We live in a pretty big neighborhood. We won Garden of the Year,
Oh my gosh.
way outside of anyone's comfort zone. No one here has an all native garden. We just have a landing strip for people to know, like we will mow that little strip, but our whole front yard is a magic garden, all intentionally
Wow.
placed. We have the winding path, which you went to your front door if you have a house in Shui. We also have a water feature. So we have a toad that comes every night that is like very metaphoric in Shui.
Wow.
Um, we have all kinds of birds. My daughter will be like, look at all the bees. They're all getting along together. There's so many different kinds. There's bees that are like 2 inches big, like bumblebees. There's different kinds of bees. And she's like, they all are in harmony, mama.
Oh.
My daughter's 13 now. She's very energy sensitive. So when that finally kind of started to establish, massive changes started to happen in my business.
Hmm.
Massive. That was Sam had offered a mini mind in her regenerative business creative lab, which I'm a part of. And I was like, I'm going to make this leap. Like everything started to like with your story with
Hmm.
Eddie, the celebrity who will not be named, like
Yeah.
things like boom, boom, boomed.
Uh-huh.
When I when we really just had this land native magic healing garden established, boom, 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 things started to happen very quickly. And literally it brought so many people. We live in a cul-de-sac at the bottom of the hill. Like we had so many people come. Like when Uber drivers come or delivery people come, they're crying with joy. They're like, your garden brings us so much joy. Can we take pictures of it? They'll be on the phone and be like, I got to tell you about this place. And like, it's just kids come by and play in our water feature. It's a rock. It's a rock with a hole in it. It's not like anything fancy. It's like very down to earth like us. And it just has brought joy to our neighborhood, joy to strangers. When people come for my retreats, they're like, it just is like magic here. So your front yard is your present day in terms of house therapy and feng shui. So if you have like, I don't know where to begin doing what's ever in your front yard or even your front stoop. If you
Hmm.
don't own land, if you're in an apartment or you can't, like you're in a townhouse, your front stoop, your walkway to your door is a massive key to unlocking potentiality for you in your business. You
Hmm.
want to make sure that it's clear, the practice of sweeping, like I sweep on the new moon and the full moon, and I also
Wait, wait,
sweep.
I just want to clarify some terms. When
Yes,
you say
yes,
front yard is present day, you mean
yes.
when you change your front yard, you're impacting things that can happen immediately?
Yes.
Okay. And I feel like before you said backyard was like the future. Is that what you said when you were like off? Yeah.
Yes. So
So
the
like when you
backyard,
said potentiality, you're saying like like the potential for change is immediate. You mean that's what you mean by that? Yeah.
in
Okay.
your present day life. So your
Uh-huh.
present day life, if you're trying to manifest a partner, if you want to have changes in your business, when you intentionally trigger opportunities in your front yard with intention, it will parallel into whatever the intention is in your ecosystem.
hmm Is this kind of like because this is something I learned recently that I feel like is like basic shui that I didn't realize. The wealth gua in your home is kind of like long-term wealth, but then new beginnings is like if you want fast cash, go to the new beginnings part. Is that kind of like front yard, backyard in a sense?
Yes, it's like, what am I planting towards my future? Like you can think
Yeah.
about like this is my 90-day goals in my front yard,
Okay.
and then my 5 or 25-year plan is in my backyard.
Wow. Okay, cool.
So sometimes it's not quite that long, but like
Yeah.
sometimes our goals are so big, like we don't know how long it's going to take, but I know I'm
Uh-huh.
planting the intentions for that in my backyard.
Okay, so for people who do have yards, whether they own them or they're planning on being there for 6 months, a year, a few years, what are some like definitely do this, definitely don't do this? Definitely
Definitely,
fix this immediately.
definitely make sure that you are taking care of your yard because a lot of people neglect their yards, not consciously, it's like unintentionally. So if anything's dead, if anything is broken, so like some people have like, yard kitschy things, it has to be in proper form. If you love your gnomes, your garden gnomes, make sure their paint is not chipping off.
Uh-huh.
If If you have plants that have become overgrown, like that's a metaphor. Everything is a metaphor.
hmm
What is overgrown in your life? Are you not having good boundaries with your clients? Are you having poor boundaries with your family of origin? Like overgrown is overgrown.
hmm
Make sure it's properly in its proper form. If you have relationships that are really tense or fraught with conflict, look and see if you have anything prickly by the front door. So, like rose bushes, unless you're in a desert area that's cactus, like that's their natural
Yeah.
habitat, even then, try not to have your cacti by your walkway or by your front door.
Mm.
So, succulents over like things that are pinchy will energetically draw in pinchy relationships to us.
hmm
Everything outside of your front door, that's the energy that you're bringing in. It's the compounding cumulative energy that's coming to your front door. So even if you swayed your home or you love the vibe of your home, if everything outside your front door is not being tended to with the care and TLC that you bring to your home or your relationships or your business, you're missing an opportunity.
hmm
So you want to have like things that are well maintained. If you're in a place that is, if you're able to work with a walkway, it's great for there to be a winding walkway
hmm
because energy doesn't go like you think about trick-or-treaters. That's a great way to understand how energy comes into your home. Do the trick-or-treaters beeline through your yard or are they following your proper, like your proper walkway that's very rigid?
hmm
So oftentimes people are missing opportunity with even the directionality of their walkway.
hmm
So if you can shift your walkway at all or make it a little bit more interesting or curvy, not complicated, always think like, where do the trick-or-treaters go? Where does the delivery person go? Like they cut through your yard because they know energy. They're like, this is in and out. So
It's
that's
like
a
those,
huge
what are they called? Like elephant paths or something? The ones
yes.
where like you see that there's a path that the architecture person put down, but then you see that all the grass is dead on a completely different path because they weren't actually thinking about how the energy flowed.
Yes. And always use your front door. If you're someone who comes in through a side door or garage door, intentionally, it's like the front door is the mouth of chi, it's the mouth of energy, opportunities. So it would be like you trying to take in your nutrients from your ear or from your like liver.
hmm
Like you're missing opportunities if you're not using your front door. So you want all that energy to go through the architectural front door. That's very important.
And you would literally mean, okay, I'm going to park my car in the garage, not go in through the garage door, leave the garage, then walk to the front door.
If you're someone who is outside of the home for work and you only have to do that once a day, that's your opportunity once a day.
Okay.
Or if you have kids, send your kids out to get the mail or to go out and come back in. It can be fun. It doesn't have to be a chore, but you should be using your front door daily.
Okay. I don't have this problem, but I'm just imagining my childhood home, and it was like we always went through the side door.
Yep. Yep. Yes. I'm trying to, if when you think about what you're talking about with new beginnings over wealth and feng shui, if you are someone who is pivoting in business or pivoting in relationships, that's called the career and life journey
Mhm.
area, which is the middle line of the middle part of the front line of your home or your yard.
Mhm.
So when you're standing at the curb, that first part when you step in, that's in the middle,
Mhm.
that is a place that you really want to focus on. And make sure there's extra TLC going there,
Mhm.
extra like you can use all kinds of things like windmills or twinkle lights. Like you are, I know everyone listening here is probably very intuitive and very connected because they're connected to you. And you draw your boomerang is that for your people. So you want to be curious about is the energy, is the vibe enticing to come through your yard or your walkway to your front door?
Mhm. So something for because I'm someone who I'm just really in my own world most of the time. I'm in whatever creative portal I'm in, and therefore clutter around me is just so easy. Like just piles of clutter and that I don't even notice. Like they don't exist in my mind. So something that I've found is like, can you take a picture of the room? That's when I'll notice. If I'm about to take, I'm like, oh my God, what a beautiful sunset. Let me take a picture. And then only after I take the camera out, I notice that there's like this big trash can in front of it.
That's perfect. Like, yeah, are there things obstructing your walkway? Have things piled up? Do you break down the boxes and recycle them properly? Like,
Mm,
all those things really matter with the
mhm,
energy in your front yard. And if
mm,
you want to plant intentions, like you could plant flowers, you could have pots, you could
mm,
plant veggie seeds, like you're plant as you symbolically plant the actual seeds, you're planting the seeds
mm.
for whatever you're wanting to come to fruition.
Are things like flowers and fences, is that important at all? Or is it just like,
You can be much more like curated and intentional, but just like for a broad
mhm,
brushstroke, you can use color and according to the bagua in your front yard
mm,
to stoke or up level the chi
mhm,
to bring more potentiality. For some people, they can't handle plants. They can't handle like I can't invest in flowers. I can barely handle the yard or like my veggie garden is it.
mhm.
So sometimes it's not color. So you can think about shape or energy. So like new beginnings is the energy is a tree, like a vertical line. So
Mhm.
if you have something that's a vertical veggie, like that goes up and down, like that will bring that
Like
energy to that.
one of those rain chains. That seems vertical.
So the rain chain is coming, that's it's
Okay,
going
I
to be
get it.
balanced
Yeah.
because the energy is up and down, but then the energy comes down. So
Mhm,
it leans more towards down.
mhm,
But you could do like a trellis, that's an up
okay.
energy. There's different, yes, sunflowers, yes, there's lots of different things that you can be very intentional about if you can't do a magic, massive healing
Let's
garden.
so however many minutes in, let's like go back to some like super basics. For someone who doesn't know feng shui at all, I want to hear your explanation of it and then what is the bagua that we're referencing?
Okay, so if you have never heard of feng shui, don't worry, a lot of people don't know about it. It is the basically how do I have a relationship with my environment? And so if you're surfing, if you own a business, if you own an office, your home, you have a storage unit, that's all your environment. If you have a rental, it's part of your environment because it's what's in your. So many people that you know probably understand what we call like um, human luck, which is like worthiness, mindset, understanding how I have agency and capacity, understanding the impact of systems. That's all human luck. I think your people also probably really understand heavenly luck or cosmic luck, which is astrology, human design, understanding the cosmos, understanding ancestors, understanding karma. I think they're all set on that. The place that a lot of people get confused about is that your home and land are the earthbound luck. And so it's a third, it's all equal. All of those factors impact your ability to live, thrive, manifest, be in right relationship with things. All three realms are important. And so house therapy and feng shui are the earth luck. It helps you to, just like you would with thinking about yourself or thinking about how is the weather of the cosmos impacting my life, your environmental energy around you is massively impacting you. Not just in your home, but like the 3 mile radius around your home, that's all a part of what impacts what's coming through your front door or coming through the front door of your office or your business. Or for Sam, like the land, all that's huge land. So that 3 mile radius is quite big. So with the environment, you get to accelerate and trigger opportunities and also mitigate challenges or things that maybe are not ideal. There's no perfect home, there's no perfect land, there's no perfect person. So you get to work with things that might be creating more stagnation in your home, or what we call rushing chi, which is like if you have a stairway across from your front door, the opportunities are rushing out the front door oftentimes. Like that's a very common setup that people don't know. It's like I'm doing everything right, quote unquote. Like I'm doing ads. My regenerative business model is like really robust. Why aren't the opportunities staying? They're like they come in and they come out. That's a very common one. So with Shui, you get to mitigate those challenges and then raise the good vibes or the good energy for you, your life, your business relationships, your health, your luck, all the places. What about you, Sam?
Oh, it's blowing my mind because I have been putting feng shui in the category of like me and my own stuff I'm doing. And then, so like exactly what you said, like the mindset and the better, whatever. And then all the stuff outside that like heavenly luck you mentioned, I was putting it in the heavenly luck category. And so it's blowing my mind that there's like the third category that is earthbound luck. And I'm just kind of sitting with this over here.
Yet you have invoked regenerative business model. Your people are earthbound, but they are
Yeah.
considering the earthbounds out there
Yeah.
versus is the earthbound, right? Like I am in the portal of earthbound luck and I am underestimating its ability for me to be in relationship with it.
Okay, so I don't know if this is going to be true, but I'm like really curious now because you know that I use a lot of metaphor with regenerative business ecosystems, and I visualize an actual ecosystem when I'm thinking about my business ecosystem. I'm like, is there a way to like actually ground my business ecosystem into the land I'm on? Is zone zero like actually the fences and like the physical fences around my property and like is you're nodding.
So your home, your land, we're going to use Sam as an example because she's given a really good example of like that, the feel of it. You ask like, what's the Bagwell map? The Bagwell map is the energetic centers
Mm,
that are present in any kind of thing. It could be the top of your desk. It can be your whole property line. It can be anything under your roof line. So there's ways to go macro, micro. So with this land example, if you took the outline of the basic outline of your land, whatever shape that is, we would then put a square over it, a tic-tac-toe or a rectangle. So
mhm.
that would tell us from the curb, we want to read it. There's different schools of feng shui, different, just like there's different models of business, there's different models of energy work.
Tons of
Our
different kinds of astrology.
yes, our lineage is BTB, which is Black Hat Set. And so it's a more westernized form of feng shui, but it's not Western feng shui, which is another thing. So this comes from just to be clear, because people are like, what is she talking about? There's compass feng shui, that's a whole other school. We're talking about the way that we're trained. We both have the same mentor, Amanda Gibby Peters. So from the front driveway or curb or front property line, whatever the front of your property is, you would then place the bagua. And for people on YouTube or wherever you post this, Sam,
Let me just put a little soundbite in while you're doing that. It's Amanda Gibby Peters has been on this podcast. I'm like now thinking of like in the episode with her is epic. I'm now thinking about that as like 101 and this is 201. So listening to them
so
together are great. Okay, on to the Bagua.
this is the bagua, and this is my version of it. So it has Amy's kind of like notes on it, and I'm happy to put this in the show notes for your
Mm,
people.
that'd be great.
So this would be the front line.
Hmm.
So the front line is knowledge and wisdom, life journey and career, and then helpful people and travel.
Hmm.
So this would be the front line. And then is your property a square? I'm guessing no.
No, it's a triangle actually. Well, I'm wondering, is that line? I know it's supposed to do the front door. Is it just pushed out from the front door, or is it the entrance from my driveway?
So it's the entrance of your property line. So if you're,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
why I'm property line. So if your driveway isn't, I mean, you live in Maui. I'm like, it's probably epic. Your driveway could not even, it could even be beyond that. So whatever your property line is,
Uh-huh.
that front property line is from the property line looking towards your home. That's the
Mhm.
front line.
Okay,
So
so the Bagua of my house might actually be a different direction than the Bagua of my land, is what I'm
that's
hearing.
right.
Okay,
That's right.
great. Hmm.
So is your triangle up or is your triangle down?
The triangle's down.
Okay, so I'm just gonna draw this with my fingers.
Hmm.
So you see that
Oh,
this is
wait,
one,
wait. Now I have another layer of complexity. We have the
okay, I'm ready.
driveway, we have the driveway we currently use, and then we have the driveway we will ultimately use. Once,
We're gonna go to the property line. So is the
okay.
property line along both driveways or only along one driveway?
It could, if I turned it around, because it's a triangle, it could be both the driveways.
So this is the fascinating thing about
Hmm.
house therapy, because basic feng shui doesn't in this. You can do multiple readings of any home, of any
Hmm.
property. So for the simplicity of our conversation for 201 house therapy,
Not
we're
501.
going to make it this version.
Yeah.
So an inverted triangle is a water. That's
Hmm.
a water symbol. So all of the energy, all the elemental places have geometric symbols.
Hmm.
So this would be as is. This
Hmm.
is a water, this means this land is in a water elemental design.
Hmm.
So we're seeing you bisect children creativity, you bisect new
Hmm.
beginnings, you're missing then knowledge and wisdom, and you're missing travel and helpful people.
Hmm.
There's other ways to enhance this part so
Hmm.
that you can kind of energetically and vibrationally call in the land that you're missing to come energetically into your land. There's ways to do that.
Hmm.
Or what you can do is put the bagua around land. So let's say that then it would be like, okay,
That
this
other
is the
property, that
triangle,
other property. Hmm.
yeah. But then you get all bagua parts with that
Hmm.
second reading. The way I do it is I ask the house and I ask the land. So I'll ask the land, which way do you want to be read?
Yeah.
Do you want me to read you with this part being omitted or as an extra?
Hmm.
And every land will have their own ways of being read.
Okay, how do we make that actually translatable for people who are listening in?
So most people's land is not a rectangle or a square.
Hmm.
So you want to just get a bagua, I go to Google Maps,
Hmm.
know your property line, and then you're going to put this over top of it.
Hmm.
So you can
And
do
you can
that.
just Google search Bagua or
Yep,
look in the show notes. We'll
right.
include that
We'll give it to you.
image. Hmm.
So if you read the whole property, so Sam's, we're going back to the triangle, you crisscross then where the center is. So the center might be her home, it might be somewhere on the land. That's going to be the energetic hotspot, one of the centers of potentiality for wherever it is on her land. It's a place to start making contact. Like no matter where it is, if it's in your home or outside of the home, that will correspond with the land itself.
Hmm.
And so you want to be able to have a deeper conversation with your home or the land in that spot.
Hmm.
So that's one way. Or if you have like a lot of people have a clear front yard or a front stoop or a front pathway, you can make from the curb, the front line of the curb to your front door. That can be another way that you read just the present day bagua.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that would be very concrete. So you could superimpose a mini bagua over the front yard. That might be more accessible for people other than the whole property line. Because I imagine some of your people have big properties like you.
I hope so. I hope people listening have big properties. Well, now I'm thinking because for the triangle, I'm gonna go to the center of the triangle, right? And they're gonna be the hot
Yeah.
spot. And now what do I do when I go to the hot spot? Do I just meditate there? Do I make an altar there?
You can make an offering there. You can
Okay.
make an offering.
Hmm.
And so, like, I'm going to acknowledge no matter how long or how little I've been with this land, I'm going to acknowledge all the things I appreciate about it. Thank you for providing this loving and stable home for us. Thank you for allowing me to heal from whatever I healed from. Thank you for allowing me to launch my business or iterate my business here. Everything that it has witnessed since you've been there, you're going to thank it.
Hmm.
Thank thank the indigenous wisdom keepers, past, present, future, and then all of the souls that have been there. So it could be animal souls, it could be whatever it is, you're
Hmm.
acknowledging in Hawaii, it's not this way, but in the States, acknowledging the people that have been enslaved on that land,
Yeah.
acknowledging the suffering that has happened,
Yeah.
acknowledging genocide, acknowledging, if you know the previous owner of the home and land, acknowledge, like you're talking about the neighbors above that are pig farmers, acknowledging if something like that happened, like I'm so sorry that you had to bear witness to really painful and horrific things. You're acknowledging all the good and all the hardship. And if you have ignored your land, not shaming yourself, but to say, I'm really sorry, I didn't recognize that you want to have a relationship with me, that I should be in relationship with you. And if you're able to say it from a sincere and authentic place, like, I'm really sorry. Can you please forgive me? And when I say that in my heart, like I can feel that whoever, some of the people that are listening, it's going to really land deeply because when we carry rough relationships in our human life with humans that have not forgiven us or have not asked for forgiveness, the land can be such a healing place for us to do that work. So you just want to start with that kind of conversation out loud. The land's not a mind reader, and then make an offering there. So it could be like anything organic. When I do a class, oftentimes I'll say bring something for an offering for the land that you're on. It could be tea leaves, it could be flowers, it could be something sweet, it could be like something that's not going to harm the land further,
Mm,
but you want to whisper into it, blow into it, thank you, thank you, thank you, whatever, however deep that wants to be, and then you place it down. Sometimes it is, it can go deeper into grounding and resourcing and meditating there and just having a deeper felt sense awareness in your body of this is what it feels like to be in deeper contact with the land. There's lots of different ways that you can go, but that's an initial way that's very supportive.
I know here the traditional offering when you're giving offerings to land is a tea leaf, TI, not TEA. So I bet that's probably researchable for everyone listening of is there a traditional offer plant offering for my area or offering?
Yep.
Mhm.
Some people it's like, whole tobacco leaves. Like it depends on where
Mm,
you are in the
yeah.
world. In
Rice, I think, is common in a lot of places, or not in the US, but
in other places. So you want to do your due diligence. You don't want to cause harm to the land or the critters.
hmm
And it can be like even like I have stones from many places where I've gotten permission, and this land asked me to put the stones out as an offering from other places. They wanted the stones to be in contact with each other. So the
hmm
land will tell you what it wants and needs, and you can do your human due diligence.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's interesting that you saying because you said twice now that the land isn't a mind reader, so it's important that you actually verbally communicate. And I find that so surprising. So I'm glad you said that because I was like, I would think that I'm not going to hear it through a voice that I'm sure other people can, but I wouldn't. So yeah, I'm glad you specified that because I would have assumed the opposite.
I think when you are in a more deeper relationship, then you can have that kind of
hmm
communication. Like the land has been standing by and like, are you going to talk to me? Are you going to acknowledge me? Are
Yeah.
you really serious? And sometimes we cannot express the sincerity in through an internal place. Like it has to be almost like with reverence or devotion or sincerity, authenticity. Like we can hear that with the tone of our voice. The land
Yeah.
will hear it too.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, so now that we moved into this, I a topic that we did want to talk about is, are you fine with going over time? I should ask that
Yes,
first.
of course.
Okay, great. Working with the land to heal land and land reparations, earth grids, all that stuff that I don't know what the meaning of, but I'm really excited to learn about.
Yes, so we'll do a layer one and maybe we'll have another conversation in the
Great.
future.
Great.
So one of the first things that you want to do is acknowledge, like we talked about a little bit earlier, but acknowledging both the gifts and the suffering,
Mhm.
and to acknowledge that it's for most people, most land, it's long term. Like this is not
Yeah.
just in our lifetime, this is generations. So it's compounded, just like
Yeah.
ancestral work, it's compounded. So one of the first things I recommend is to make a grid in
hmm
the four corners of your property. And
hmm
if you are in an apartment, it could be the four corners of your apartment.
hmm
Uh, if you're in a townhouse, like you can do it in the base of your garage, if that's the bottom of your townhouse. So there's lots of ways to do this, but to go to the energetic corners and then to place a crystal. And sometimes people really rely on crystal quartz for this, which crystal quartz are great. They can clear a lot of different things, but I tend to recommend shungite. And so I'll show in the video version shungite, and there's noble elite shungite and shungite, but shungite is sometimes people are familiar with it because it helps with EMF vibrations. It's also used for cloaking in the military, and it is very helpful for creating a bubble and it clearing. So it's known to help people heal, animals heal. You want something that is going to be like the radius for potentiality of this crystal. You don't need a big crystal. Um, and when you do a grid like this, you want to go, 4 to 6 inches down. So if you're in some place that's wintered already, like you can just put it in a pot and do it next spring if it's cold like that already for you. But when you put it in, the four crystals are going to act as one. They're going to act as a unit. So the first one you put in, you're going to feel in your body, like let's say you put it down with the point up, but then you're going to feel, and it's like a tuning fork, you're going to feel like, oh, it actually wants to be tilted a little bit different. So you're going to feel it locking your body when the land tells you, like, this is the right position. So for each one you do, you're going to call in whatever your belief system is around calling in the healers, the protectors in all time and space, all realms, from top to bottom, from the cosmos to the core of the heart of the world, from Pachamama, Mother Earth, for all of that to be transmuted. So anything that has been there at any point in time in history, backwards or forwards, that the shungite is going to help to clear it, and that it's going to help the land itself to heal, to regenerate, to help all like the ecosystem, the life forms, the vibrancy, the vitality, and help to restore it over time. So you want to do that at all four corners. Some people call in archangels, some people call in ancestors. There's no right or wrong. It's your belief system. And sometimes we need to go back and like, oh, I feel like a difference. It's okay. It's not like one and done, like you can go back, but the earth will literally eat them. Your earth will, it's like you're giving it a power pellet. Like you're not going to be able to come back and find it. It's like when you take a vitamin, it's in there. You cannot go back and retrieve it. So if you can't find it even within that one session, know that it's been taken. So this is something that like you don't have to do more than once. And over time you can do other grids, but this is a very helpful grid as a layer level one to literally like it's a blanket of healing or a dome of healing that's coming in a 360 around everything in your environment.
That's so good. I love how actionable that was.
Super concrete. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I just want to drop in here because you just did a workshop on how to sell your home. And when we were chatting about it, I was like, I feel like this probably applies to me, even though I never want to sell our property. And you were telling me that it was really around the relationship you have with the land and the relationship you have with the home. And so I'm assuming you would say the same thing in that even if you're not in your forever home, even if you feel almost a little bit of resentment that you're stuck where you are, any sort of that kind of energy, starting to do this work, the work we've been talking about today, is actually probably even more important.
Don't wait to get to your new home to have a connection with land.
Yeah.
Don't wait for your business to change. Like working with where you are right now in present day, it will have a massive ripple effect in whatever you want to manifest or co-create. It will, the ROI on is huge.
I guess on that note, like if someone's in a condo or in an apartment, can they put the shungite in the corners of the apartment or should they try and do it outside?
You know how radical these people are. So this person, I would do it, I would go at night and plant it in the four corners of the courtyard or
Hmm.
wherever I'm close to. But some people, their boundaries are different than mine. So you can just your condo or your apartment. But like you can think about your condo or apartment, like the entirety of all the buildings together, because that would be the property line.
Hmm.
And some people they want to live on the edge, they want to do that kind of thing,
Yeah.
but you don't, it's not necessary.
Hmm.
I've had clients before that have lived in the cities, and I'm like, just go and sprinkle these in the neighborhood. It's not even about like your like this building. It's
Hmm.
like your whole block has been hurt.
Yeah.
You're gonna share the love. Shungite will love on your neighborhood, will love on your block.
Hmm. Is there ethical procurement of shungite or resources you recommend?
Upper Clarity School, their stone school, it's outside of Asheville, North Carolina. They have a great ethical business for stones. A big thing with stones is that they're heat treated or not what they say they are.
Hmm.
Uh, that that shop is 100% ethical.
And it was
Eth-
Upper Clarity?
Upper Clarity Stone
Okay.
Shop.
Stone Shop. I love it.
The word for it is stone. So my teacher is a stonalist. That's the term in Taoism. So I'm a stonalist.
Okay.
Sarah Thomas is my teacher,
Uh-huh.
and she's fabulous. You should have her on the show sometime. She's amazing.
I mean, we'll have to. My husband is such a stone freak, so he's in the other room. I'm sure you can hear me saying this. So, like, this is great.
We're talking about like minerals and crystals, those kind of stones.
Oh, I no, that's what I meant for him
Yes,
too.
that's listening. I'm like, yes, we're talking about those kinds of. I'm a stonalist of that kind.
Oh, funny. Okay, so much practical wisdom, so much esoteric wisdom that I'm so excited for people to go out and apply today on so many different levels. Amy, where can people find you online? How can they take a next step or a super deep step with you? All the ways.
You can find me, my name, I'm the only Amy Babish. You can find me on my website, Instagram at Amy Babish, and then I also have a newsletter. You can take the class that Sam was mentioning. It's a great way to build relationships. I teach some really heartfelt ways of connecting with your home and land in that class, very accessible. And if you want to sell your home, that's a bonus of it, but you don't have to sell a home. You don't have to own a home. So it's a great thing. And then if you want to take a deeper dive with me, we can do a 20-minute complimentary call to see like just how deep. I can do one-time ceremonies or rituals like house blessings, land clearings, anything like that. Or we can do in-house therapy. I work in 3-month increments with people. And if you're someone who's like, my human luck needs some upgrades, I don't know how to I don't know how to ground and be in my body and feel all the things. I'm an emotional wave on human design and I just don't know how to get it, or breath work hasn't worked for me. I'm the place where people come when they've plateaued in that kind of work. So I offer 12-month packages for people. So
Yeah,
just,
and just to be clear, this is like one small little facet of what Amy does. I just like got really niche of what I wanted to talk about, but she's just so talented in so many different dimensions. So if you're looking for a healer, wisdom holder, someone to take you really, really deep, definitely go check out her website. And do you have any final messages for folks listening?
I hope this has just like opened your heart into like something that you were deeply looking for and you didn't have words for. Because in a Western or colonization or empire world, like we think more, like I need more, but really sometimes what we need is a deeper connection with ourselves and with the land and with everything that's just right around us, like low-hanging fruit. So I hope that this was soul food for you.
Oh, so good. Thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you, Sarah.